Greetings, you heavenly creatures. It is me, the Bee from Super Marcey Super Network, and once again I deliver to you another movie review. Today I will be looking at Mike Flanagan's 2013 horror film Oculus, starring Karen Gillan, Katie Sackhoff, Rory Cochrane and Brenton Thwaites. So first and foremost, let's get this out of the way now. The acting in this film is fantastic. I mean it. You know, it's not just the adult players in this movie who I listed before, but the young actors who play the childhood equivalents of Gillian and Brenton Thwaites. They're equally good too. Like this film deals with some really dark material, and you know, it's really no wonder these days that you get some really fantastic child actors. But here they really do sell, you know, what their characters are seeing here, and yeah. Great work across the board. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. What I love about Oculus is this. It is a Lovecraft film. It truly is. Think about it. You have the Lasaglass. The Lasaglass is the mirror, the Oculus, if you will. The Oculus is the eye, the window to the soul. And what the Lasaglass does is this. Okay, it reflects back to you, you know, what you want to see, what you don't want to see, and what you can't see. But it never distinguishes between any of them. And that is what drives those who look into it absolutely mad. And not only that, the Lasaglass is of indeterminate origin. Nobody knows where it comes from, nobody knows who made it, and nobody knows exactly what this thing is for, okay? It's a mirror. It's one of the most innocuous objects you can put in your house. Like, who's gonna question that? Now, the character of Kaylee, played by Karen Gillan, she knows better, and what she wants to do is that she wants to expose the Lasaglass for what it is. And that's another great thing about this film. The characters are incredibly proactive, okay? Kaylee and her brother Tim, even though Tim is somewhat reluctant, he is still incredibly curious as to what the Lasaglass can do and just how powerful it can possibly be. Kaylee is hell-bent on proving that the Lasaglass is responsible for the trauma that has happened to her family. And that's another Lovecraftian element. You have the idea of a curse going on in a family unit, only in this case, the Lasaglass basically hooks in to the insecurity of everybody who looks into it, especially the character of the father and of the mother, played by Cochrane and Sackhoff. This film sort of bends and twists the element of time, because there are so many epochs that this film jumps between. Like, it jumps between the past and the present and the future. Like, it goes everywhere in the film. And even though the future isn't necessarily explicitly shown, it's not until the end of the film that you realize that the Lasaglass can see everything, but it doesn't have to show you everything. It shows you what it wants to show you. And that's another thing about the Lasaglass. There's no motivation behind it. It is evil, and that's what Mike Flanagan, the director, was trying to get at when he sort of conjured up the idea of the Lasaglass. It doesn't have a reason or a motivation to be so evil and cruel. It just is, and it takes distinct pleasure in causing the suffering and feeding and exploiting on the negative energy that its victims has. It really is such a brilliant concept, and for the most part, the execution is fantastic. Even though there is, you know, quite a few shocking and bloody scenes in this film, make no mistake, what truly gets under your skin is the psychological angle. And that's exactly what Lovecraft was all about. He was about getting into your brain and sowing the seeds of doubt and, you know, uncertainty about what the characters are looking at. It's it is the best, one of the best Lovecraftian tales that wasn't actually written by Lovecraft. There you go. And for sure, Oculus does have its faults in terms of logic and story pacing, but when you look at it from a broader perspective, this is a film that is intent on delivering to you a mature and well-conceived psychological horror. Psychological horror is, I'm not going to say a very rare entity these days, but it is so rare that it is basically nailed okay? You have quite a few films that have been great in concept, but the execution has not been that good. But with Oculus, it manages to balance out the scales, like, you know, not only because of the acting and the amazing atmosphere in this film, holy crap, towards the end of the film, it basically jumps back and forth from the past and present, and, excuse me, and, you know, you just become lost in time, just the way these characters are. Like, the film isn't just messing with the characters in the story, it's messing with you, and that is so cool. It's just so cool, because, you know, Flanagan has taken exquisite care to ensure that the audience are not treated like children, that we're not being spoon-fed each and every single freaking detail, because where would the fun and the challenge and the horror be if it did that? Okay, if it was like a Platinum Dunes sort of film, it would have absolutely been full of exposition around the corner, everything, but not this film. Oculus is about the horrors that you can see inside yourself. Okay, and it's just, so good. Oh, and also those of the past who were basically fed upon by the laser glass, they basically become a part of the curse. They become harbingers of doom and, you know, cells of chaos in the human mind. And just the way their eyes are, that there's nothing particularly horrifying outwardly about them, though, you know, in some cases there are, but I'm not going to give away any of that. What really sort of strikes you about them is their eyes. Their eyes are mirrors. And as I said earlier on in this review, like, the mirror is the eye to the soul, the oculus, what we see, our perception, and having it take the form of a human being, something relatable to us. It's just all the more destructive when these poor people start to fall down their spiral into madness. Oh, it's just so good. So, but objectively speaking, Oculus is not a perfect film, and there are a couple of story beats in the movie that don't... Let me just put it this way. When it comes to travelling back and forth in time, you know, sometimes you do sort of lose track about what's going on, but that's only because... look, I don't exactly have the best sort of attention to detail, but... I'm sorry, I got a really big bug in my throat, I'm sorry. But the thing is, you can't fault a film for actually putting itself out there and treating you as a responsible human being. It is treating your cerebral cortex. It is encouraging you to think about what the story is all about, the implications, everything like that. You know, seeing something horrific is one thing, but thinking something horrific is quite another, okay? It's what you don't see that truly gets to you. So I'm going to give Oculus a 4 out of 5. I think it is one of the finest psychological horror films I have seen in quite some time. And not only that, it's also one of the best Lovecraftian-inspired horror films of all time. And I got to give it up to Mike Flanagan for, you know, putting it all out there. For, get this film originally started as a film short, and it's on YouTube, by the way. It's very good, check it out. But it's just so fantastic that he felt so much about this project, and he wanted to expand on the lore, and this is what we got, okay? And I would be damned if they tried to make a franchise out of this, because it is just too clever. It is just too clever for, like, the strictly business-minded Hollywood executives that are out there. So Oculus truly is a one-of-a-kind sort of film, so I highly, highly recommend it. Did I say that I recommend it? Sorry, guys. Yes, thank you so much again for listening to me ramble, and as usual, I shall see you, my heavenly creatures, in the next video. Bye-bye for now.